Hey guys, my name is Matsumio, and today we've learned about some interesting changes coming to Rainbow Six Siege. The first big one is that Fuze is going to be getting an upgrade. What they're doing to him is that he's now going to have access to 4 of his gadgets, up from 3. Now, I imagine the reason why Ubisoft is doing this is that they just simply want to make him more appealing, like what they did with Ying not too long ago. Now, the question is, will this actually have the desired effect? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it won't. Yes, for some players, that this might finally get them to play this character more, but I feel like it does not actually get to the underlying issue for why people don't like playing as this operator, and that comes down to the simple fact that he is incredibly situational. Half the time, you can't even use his gadget because the windows are all gone next to the objective. Either your team took him down or the enemy team did. Or the objective is literally on the top floor and you can't even use verticality to your advantage. The thing about Fuze that makes him underwhelming isn't the fact that he doesn't have a lot of his gadget to use, is that you're never actually really able to use them in an advantageous way. Now, obviously, there are some exceptions here. This might change if they eventually add in the ability that they talked about a while ago to actually change your operator as you identify where the objective is in the preparation phase. But until then, or if that never happens, I don't really see this having the desired effect. Honestly, I feel like he's gonna have to have a more extensive rework if they want him to be competitive. One idea that I really like is allowing him to just simply throw his gadget a short distance. Not like Ying, where she throws it into a room and then it goes off and everything gets taken out. I don't think it needs to be to that extreme, but allow him to throw this onto the ceiling or onto a wall. It then would latch onto it and the gadget would then, do what it does today. But that way you can have more verticality. So if the objective is actually up on the top floor where you're not able to use the ceiling like you normally would, you can just go down below and essentially do the exact same thing. Another way that they could go about it, and I realize that this would be a bit more extreme, is by allowing him to use his gadget through reinforced walls. As I stated before, there are hardly any surfaces that he can take advantage of because they're either reinforced or the windows have been taken out. And so allowing him to just simply walk up to a wall reinforcement, maybe you have to go through a much lengthier and louder animation so anyone on the other side knows that it's happening, but giving him more options to use his gadget, I think, is exactly the direction that they should go. Now, admittedly, this might be going too far. Now, yes, there would be more counters to this because now you're going to have to consider mute jammers and bandit batteries because those are the things that you're going to find on wall reinforcements. But other than that, you would just have Jaeger and Wamai stopping, and if that wall is no longer an obstacle, there may not be any utility on defense left after a change because he could just make his way around that objective and just take out every single one of those gadgets. That might be a bit extreme, but hopefully you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I really don't think that the reason why he's underwhelming right now isn't the fact that he doesn't have access to a lot of his gadget. They've kind of done this over the years. I think it's just because he just doesn't have a lot of surface to use his gadget on. Another great change that's coming with this patch is that Oryx is finally getting an upgrade. What they're doing to him is that now when he uses a dash through a soft wall, it will no longer deplete the rest of his dashes. Currently, that's not the way that it works. As soon as you go through a surface, the rest of your ability kind of just disappears and you have to wait for it to recharge. And so an operator that is literally designed around high mobility basically loses all of that great mobility, and so this will hopefully assist him in some of those situations. Another great adjustment is that his recovery time for all dashes is now going to be consistent and only take him 0.5 seconds to get back into the action. Normally, if you went through a soft wall, it would take an entire second for you to get ready. I don't know about you guys, but one of the biggest disappointments when Oryx first released was charging through a wall, clearly catching the offensive team by surprise, thinking that I had the advantage, and then taking what felt like an eternity to actually bring up my weapon and do anything about it. In that little window, it gave them plenty of time, even if they were surprised, to take me out no problem. And while I don't think that this is all of a sudden going to make him the flank king and fly through walls and take you out of nowhere, it's hopefully just like they did with Amaru by allowing her to speed up that animation, make him a lot more enjoyable to play and be a very nice quality of life improvement. So I'm really really cross my fingers that this is going to make him a more effective character. Now, this upgrade does come with a downside, and that is that his dash refresh time is going to be increased from 8 seconds up to 12 seconds, which is pretty significant. I don't really think it's going to be all that big of a deal in the long run, because if you need to dash more than 3 times in a row, you're probably already in a pretty precarious situation. It's not really going to matter at the end of the day, but I'm guessing the reason why they've done this is that now that you can dash through multiple walls back to back, they don't just simply want him to open up a million different flanking routes before the match begins. You're going to have to think about it a little bit more, so that if you do go through all of your dashes, it is going to take a bit for them to recharge. I think that that is a fair compromise. Another operator that's seen some tuning is Gridlock. They're decreasing the amount of time it takes for her gadget to deploy fully from 13 seconds down to 9 seconds. As you guys can clearly see here, it's significantly faster. One of the things about Gridlock, because she's one of my favorite characters, I'll be honest, I love Gridlock. I could never get into Nomad. I realize that most people probably would think that Nomad is the better character because she's harder to counter, but there's just something about Gridlock that really resonates with me. But it's really annoying when a lot of times you put down her gadget, you look away briefly because you think it's, you know, watching your back, watching your flank, but then someone scoots on in really quickly because it takes so long for it to fully deploy, and then they get the flank off. And so essentially this is just going to decrease that window, allowing you to go about your day and move around to where you wanted to go. And so just in general, I think this is going to be a great quality of life improvement. I don't think it's going to be a game changer. I don't think that everyone's now all of a sudden going to flock and play Gridlock all the time, but it is just going to make her a more friendly option. The last operator that's going to get changed with this patch is Nomad. Now when her gadget flings someone through a wall, just like with Oryx, it's going to deal 5 damage. They just wanted to make those equal so that the feedback was consistent. Is this really going to change anything? Absolutely not. It's already pretty finicky to try to fling someone through a wall. Usually they just kind of fall to the ground, or there isn't any soft surface for that to happen. And also 5 damage really isn't all that significant. Yes, there might be some situations where that 5 damage means the difference between you winning and losing an engagement, but in the grand scheme of things, this was just to try to make her a little bit more consistent so that that feedback is equal between these characters. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's short little update video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm excited to see how these changes are going to be impacting the game. Personally, I don't think that some of them go far enough, especially when it comes to Fuze, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is exactly what he needs. But let me know what you guys think. Are you looking forward to these changes? Do you think that they should have gone another route? Let me know what you guys think down below. But yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.